Okay, so I be live on Facebook and YouTube. And going. Good day, my friends. Welcome to today's Liberty live stream. And it's taking place a little bit earlier in the day than usual, but, well, sometimes you just gotta make a change or two, you know? So, today we're going to talk about the media. So, and I know I have a lot of friends out there with a left-wing perspective, some of whom may be watching my Facebook live stream right now, some of whom may be watching my YouTube live stream right now, but, well, not really, but, no, I think but. I have a question for any of my left-leaning friends out there. You guys are against corporate domination of things, right? You guys are against corporate domination of our lives, right? If that's the case, why do you make an exception for the media? Why do you make an exception for the media who are controlled by huge multinational corporations? As you can see here, all of the largest news networks in the country, including Fox News, where are they? Here they are. They're no exception, are controlled by these 6 multinational corporations. And yet you guys love to give them a free pass. Why the 180? Something I don't understand. Because they do lie to us a lot. They tell us lies. And let me give you an example. In 2003, when the whole Saddam Hussein weapons of mass destruction thing was happening, they peddled this without questioning anything. They peddled this without asking any questions. Same thing in 1963 when President Kennedy was assassinated. They didn't ask any questions. They never questioned the official story. I don't understand. Alright, so I see that I now have a lot more viewers on my Facebook live stream. I have a question for all my left-leaning friends. If you guys are so against corporate domination of our lives, why do you guys make an exception for the media, the corporate-controlled press? When Trump rightly calls them out on their lies, you guys are saying he's threatening the freedom of the press. Because these guys are corporate, they still have a right to speak. And just like we have the right to call them out when they lie to us. Because they lie to us all the time. And the reason I'm doing this stream about this topic is, on Snapchat, I'm going to use my brother's phone. My brother, who graciously lent us his phone, so I can show you this thing on Snapchat because I really can't show you on the computer. Thank you, Evan. He's actually sitting right here. Evan, come be acknowledged.
Hello.
Thank you, Evan. And good luck, America. Trump's information war. So I thought I might show it to you guys and respond to it because it's just so cringy and so delightful. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Yes.
Donald Trump is at war with the media.
He's out of his mind.
Whose side are you on?
Dear media, this is your brain. And this is your brain on Trump.
You can't see it that well.
He's great for your ratings, he's great for your clicks, he's shaking everything up. But let's be real, he's terrible for the media. He attacks the press every single day, and he's pretty good at it too.
Oh yeah, pretty good at attacking the press. You see, every time Trump calls them out on their nonsense, people act like he's assaulting the very right to a free press to exist. No, you tool. He's not denouncing the right of a free press. He's calling out corporate media for lying to the American people like they always do. Again, I thought they were against everything corporate. No, when the tables are turned, they can't wait to defend their corporate puppets.
He's terrible for the media. He attacks the press every single day, and he's pretty good at it too.
We are not going to let the fake news tell us what to believe.
He is very good at deflection.
Trust in the media began to drop sharply the minute Trump announced his presidential campaign, and today it's at an all-time low.
Yeah.
It doesn't depend on us to get to people. He's been able to hijack over and over again the whole news cycle by saying things that just aren't true.
Oh, you mean like you guys all the time? Like you guys telling us that Saddam did have weapons of mass destruction. The way you guys constantly lied to us about the Ferguson protests when they were really riots. The way you spun the false narrative that Michael Brown was this innocent kid, when in reality he was a convicted criminal who had a record. It is you guys who lied to us on occasion. It is you guys who gave us fake polls, telling us how there was no chance whatsoever that Donald Trump would win the election. It was you guys who lied about Marine Le Pen's supposed remarks about the Holocaust, which, by the way, let me explain something. A few days ago, there was this story on the mainstream press about Marine Le Pen supposedly making snide remarks about the Holocaust. And so I did some research. I tried to find the video where she said it. No video, no sound clip, no impartial testimony, nothing. No evidence whatsoever that she even said it. Now, her father, Jean-Marie Le Pen, did say things like that, and Marine Le Pen kicked him out of the National Front Party. But you don't hear about that from the MSM, though, do you? Let's get on with this nonsense. It's turned off.
It doesn't depend on us to get to people. He's been able to hijack over and over again the whole news cycle by saying things that just aren't true. We write about it, we make it a big scandal, and his message spreads virally across the country.
Trump's the president, so reporters have to cover every single thing he says or tweets, even the completely untrue stuff.
The rarely press-shy president standing behind his unproven claim he was spied on by President Obama.
Even though government documents and WikiLeaks have confirmed that President Trump was spied on by the Obama administration during his campaign and during the early days of his presidency. But whatever.
With the internet and social media, Trump has spawned an army of online defenders who have his back at every turn.
By online defenders who have his back at every turn, you mean people who recognize when the corporate media lies to them and, God forbid, calls them out on their nonsense. You see, do you understand what is happening here with these people? They are in denial. They are in denial that independent thought makers on the internet have a much larger influence on young people and people with a brain than people who used to get their... You know, back in the day, the news, the TV news, and the TV newspapers were still controlled by corporations. The only difference is back then the internet didn't exist, and independent thought makers couldn't get their thoughts out there. The difference is now is that independent thought makers like Paul Joseph Watson, like Mark Dice, like Milo Yiannopoulos are able to get their thoughts to millions of people, and it has a far bigger influence and impact on young people than, let's say, Wolf Blitzer droning on behind a desk. Do you understand that they are in denial, that they are losing their power to control the narrative? And that is why this new wave of independent thinkers on the internet terrifies them. It terrifies them because they can't stop it. No matter how much they try to censor us, no matter how much they try to discredit us, they will never stop independent thought makers on the internet. And that's why they're so angry. Back to the nonsense.
With the internet and social media, Trump has spawned an army of online defenders who have his back at every turn.
I think that maybe I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Twitter.
And every time he feels sad, hey, there's Fox News to cheer him up.
President Trump gets it.
Now,
Fox News is no... I don't know why they constantly think we make an exception for Fox News. As you can see, Fox News, owned by News Corp. They are corporate news. They're no different than the other ones. The only difference is that their opinion happens to be in line with some of the people who support Donald Trump. That is really the only difference between it. And it's all part of the illusion of choice, because they're all the same. The only difference between them and us is we're not funded corporately. We are independent thought producers. I mean, people on the internet. People like Alex Jones, Milo Yiannopoulos, and so on. On with the nonsense.
Now, with their guy in the White House, the upstart right-wing voices out there on talk radio and on the internet, they have a bigger audience than ever before.
Yes, because people are tired of you lying to them, and they are tired of you claiming to represent the middle and working classes, and then denouncing those same people as backward, racist bigots for expressing a different thought to you. Could that possibly be the reason why? Let's find out.
Now, with their guy in the White House, the upstart right-wing voices out there on talk radio and on the internet, they have a bigger audience than ever before.
Breitbart is the future.
Yeah, it is the future.
A lot of people see that beat and think racist, white supremacist, alt-right.
Because that's the narrative you guys love to spin. You see, that's what they did. For the longest time, they would denounce anybody who didn't agree with them as racist, sexist, misogynists, and etc. And for a while, it worked. But now, But now, people realize it isn't an argument. It doesn't work anymore.
A lot of people see that beat and think racist, white supremacist, alt-right.
This just couldn't be anything further from the truth. We have
He's
one of
right.
the most diverse newsrooms in the country. We've done stories that criticize the alt-right. I just think it's our detractors that are desperate to try to take us out.
And in this
It's true.
media world, facts are getting lost in the wash.
This coming from the MSM? I'm sorry. The fact that a guy from the MSM, the corporate news media, just said that facts are getting lost. It's like Kim Jong-un complaining that North Koreans... It's like Kim Jong-un complaining that North Koreans have too much freedom. I mean, come on. I'm sorry.
Not entitled to make up the facts. If you have an opinion, prove it.
You can have plenty of people.
Why? My only question for you is, why don't you follow your own advice? Hey, Sophia, how you doing? I'm just ripping the MSM apart. I hope you enjoy.
We're not entitled to make up the facts. If you have an opinion, prove it.
You can have plenty of
This
people
guy who
on
called
television
Russia scum.
with really conservative viewpoints and really liberal viewpoints. That's not the problem.
According to you guys, the conservative
Problem
viewpoint
here
is the
people
problem.
just lying all the time, and the lies are treated as legitimate forms of debate. And
Yeah, kind of like you guys blindly supporting Hillary Clinton during the race, and you guys blindly going along with everything the government tells you. Oh, no, wait, no, they're not talking about themselves. They're talking about the evil right-wing independent news on the internet.
The problem is you have a bunch of people just lying all the time, and the lies are treated as legitimate forms of debate.
And it used to be that, like, people who were pretty mediocre and talentless would kind of fail out for being...
Winning the information war, it's the whole ballgame.
You guys have already lost the information war. I know you're upset that you trying to censor us on the internet has proved to be a total waste of time, but you are losing the information war. Every time you try to censor an independent news creator on the internet, whether it be left or right, their message only resonates further with young people. The mainstream media is trying to cope with what little power and influence they have left, and they don't like it. That is why they are attacking independent news and Trump for calling them out when they lie to the American people. Calling them out for spewing whatever their corporate chiefs give them.
Trump is kind of combat journalism come to life.
He's combat politics come to life, right? It's a very deeply held belief among a lot of Republican voters that the media is part of an establishment that's against them. So you need...
Well, the media is... Well, okay, first of all, the whole Republican versus Democrat thing is a distraction, okay? That's another lie that the establishment tries to dish onto the American people. That the big fight has to be between Republicans versus Democrats. I will stress this again. The true fight for our future as a country is liberty versus tyranny. And the establishment that the mainstream media is a part of is most definitely on the side of tyranny. Because they work for the corporate chiefs who buy out our politicians and who the politicians in turn get sorry, I can't speak today, enact more regulations to strangle the small and up-and-coming businesses so that they will have a monopoly.
Trump is kind of combat journalism come to life. He's combat politics come to life, right?
Of course.
It's a very deeply held belief among a lot of Republican voters that the media is part of an establishment that's against them.
And yes, the media is part of an establishment that is against the American people. The whole Republican versus Democrat thing is a distraction. It doesn't matter because both parties are controlled by these same corporate chiefs who control the media. Next
Trump is kind of...
I'm not going to give you a question. Don't be rude.
I don't watch cable news. Online, there is very little debate about the incapacity of this man to be president. He's crazy.
Blaming the Muslim ban airport chaos on Delta computer problems. This is nuts.
Well, back.
This coming from the guy who called Russian people scum. That's another conspiracy that they love to peddle forth, that Trump is a Russian puppet. I thought this strike that I had mixed feelings about at the time. I'll talk about that after I'm done with this. I think that pretty much proved that he wasn't a Russian puppet, because Putin didn't like it a lot.
Well, back over here in television news, it's like, well, no, we have to have on some of his friends who will debate this. What's the balance to this?
You turn to CNN and it's like, smart person, smart person, smart person, bull factory.
President Trump is the...
CNN itself is a BS factory. Oh, come on. Who made this?
Well, back over here in television.
But many journalists are responding the right way, with a renewed sense of mission.
You're the president. Now get to work and stop whining about it.
If you covered this...
That coming from CNN, who whined and complained when Trump became president. By the way, the reactions to that were priceless. Not just from the media, but from the college students and the lefties across America. Crying and everything else. The reactions were over the top. And that coming from CNN.
But many journalists are responding the right way, with a renewed sense of mission. They're confronting a powerful White House that's willing to fudge the truth and hide things from the public.
It's funny because the mainstream media does that. That is their job, to give the American people false facts and to distract them from the truth. I want you to do me a favor. For those of you who have cable news, turn it on and ask yourself, is this newsworthy? Is this important? Because a lot of the times they talk about that thing, that question of the day or something. Meanwhile, all the really important stuff that's going on is being neglected. They are trying to distract you and they are trying to fool you. They are trying to keep you stupid. That's what the establishment wants to do, and the mainstream media is a part of that. Do not watch them. Alright, hopefully this is almost over.
They're confronting a powerful White House. Trump needs to move beyond the media bashing. The people that elected him, they want to see results. Until then, his approval rating isn't going anywhere but down.
When he feels like he is under attack, he attacks back. But now he's punching at ghosts and hitting himself in the face.
Americans might not trust the media, but guess what? They trust Donald Trump even less.
I don't know if that's necessarily true. I mean, does anybody remember George Takei's deleted Twitter poll, where he surveyed people if they trust Trump or the media? More people answered Trump, and he deleted it. But that's none of my business. All right. So, who made this thing? I'm very curious as to who made this. Good luck, America. Let's have a look. See, let's do some research and dive into who Good Luck America. Good Luck America. Okay. Good luck, America. Snapchat. Okay, it just took me to the thing again. Good luck, America. Oh, the New York Times is praising them, another establishment news source. That's how you know they're full of... that's how you know they're full of... Not... what's the polite word to use? Not much substance. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. But let's be real, folks. The MSM is in denial that their influence is slipping. Their influence is dying among young people, especially. And I will ask this question one more time. Let me see who's watching on Facebook. Okay. I want to ask this question one more time, see if I can get an answer. To all my left-wing friends who are against corporate domination of our lives, my question for you is, why do you make an exception for the media whenever they lie to us? Because their right to their right to speak their minds and their right to exist as a press outlet was never called into question. What is being called into question is the legitimacy and the truth behind the facts they are providing. But when somebody calls that into question, like Trump does all the time, they get bashed as being against a free press. Calling out a lie is not the same thing as bashing something's right to exist. So again, why do you make exception for the media? I await your response. Now, I'm going to get this out of the way. Trump's strike on Syria. At the time, I felt really unsure about it, and I was really against it. And today, I still have a lot of mixed feelings about it because I think it did jeopardize the possible U.S.-Russia alliance to fight ISIS. I think that the possibility of that has been extremely diminished. But when I look at everything else, it's kind of very carefully calculated when you think about it. Because you got to consider when it happened and what happened as a result of it. When the strike happened, Trump was having dinner with Chinese President Xi Jinping, and one of the topics was North Korea. Trump administration has taken a much harder stance on North Korea than previous administrations have. And Xi Jinping was going to back North Korea. China historically has backed North Korea because they don't want U.S. troops on their border. But now North Korea's nuclear posturing has worried the Chinese a lot. So much so that they have 150,000 troops on the North Korean border, and China buys a lot of coal from North Korea because it's like one of their only exports. When a North Korean coal ship entered a Chinese port, the Chinese turned them away, and instead they're going to start buying American coal and American grain and more American shareholders. Xi Jinping signed major trade concessions to President Donald Trump's administration to avoid the trade war that Trump has been saying would happen between the U.S. and China. This is a huge win for Trump, but it's also a win for China too. Because China avoids the trade war and the United States gets more trade. So if it works out for both of us, good. And the strike seems like... And after the strike, Xi Jinping warned the North Koreans not to mess with Trump and his administration. So from the looks of things, it was a calculated move. But I could be wrong because I don't know for sure. So now that we've had some time to really analyze the effects of it, it has done harm in our relations with Russia. But in other aspects, it seems to have worked out okay. Was it all good? Was it all bad? I can't say. But I can at least understand a little better why he did it. I can't say definitively that I supported it, but now that I have a little more insight, I say my opinion of it has changed a little. I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about now? Because I'm done with my topics that I wanted to get out of the way. Done with my topics that I wanted to get out of the way. So, what do you guys want to talk about? I don't remember what that's from. I just remembered it. I don't know. Anybody remember what that's from? Because I don't. Well, I remember where I heard it. I think. I don't know. It's just a tune. Alright. So that pretty much does it for my monologue about the media and responding to that little story they did. Yeah, I guess that kind of wraps it up for now. Please join me in my next show, which will be whenever I feel like. Alright. Bye, guys. Have a good day.